Some of you say you missed the show because it's too late. Well, we heard you and we fixed it. So, without further ado.
So here you go. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
When my emotion grows, I still won't let it show. I still won't let it show. Even if I'm broke, I still won't let it show. I still won't let it show. I won't let it show. In my life feels like I'm running through a red light. Don't believe what the blog's right. Wanna know me, so they call me Mike. I'm just chilling, watching the fight. Few friends, fake girls, pour me some ice. Table glass, slippers on, lowered the blinds. Never been shy, I just ignore lies. Take a look in the tiger's eyes. I breathe love, but inhale the hate bomb. So numb, my face.
Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. The only station giving you double the information and inspiration. You're listening to the SelfAware radio show with me, your host, Self-Awareness. Now, we're switching tracks a little bit, or jumping tracks a little bit, to something a little different. I'm going to ask you guys a question, as well as Miss Diana, who's back one more time here.
Hey, how are you?
I don't know if she's asking me if I'm all right, but she's been sitting here this entire time. I'm great, though. I'm doing wonderful. So the question I want to pose to you, the wonderful listeners out there, Miss Diana, is actually two questions. The first one, and I don't want an answer for the question in particular. I want you to tell me if these are hard questions to answer or easy. The first question is, what is the greatest thing you have done in your life?
That's a hard question.
Off the rip is a hard question?
That's a hard question.
I disagree. I think it's an easy question.
Okay.
The second question, we'll get into it when we divulge those questions. The second question is, I forgot what the first question is. I'm kidding. The second question is, what is the hardest thing you've done in your life?
That's easy.
Oh, the hardest thing is easy, but the greatest thing is hard.
Yep, that's easy.
No, that sounds a little backwards.
It does.
Okay, so I'll go straight to it. Why I think what the greatest thing I've done in my life is an easy question to answer? Yeah. Because it's the greatest thing I've done in my life. It's pretty clear. Like, there is no toss-up of what the greatest thing is. I also think calling out the hardest thing in my life is also an easy question to answer. Like, when I say greatest thing or hardest thing, I'm not talking about, something that can easily be jumbled up with other things. I'm talking about the absolutely greatest thing you've done. Like, the absolute greatest thing sticks out, just as the absolute hardest thing you ever done in your life also sticks out. Like, there should be no question as to what these two things are, because they're on both ends of the spectrum. It is one extreme versus another most extreme. Why do you think answering the greatest thing you ever done in your life is hard?
Because it requires thought. So you actually got to sit with yourself and collect your thoughts. I mean, I think it's having an honest conversation with yourself. And it takes time to do that. And not everybody's willing to sit and eliminate the easy answers, I would think.
So if I have sat alone in a dark room with myself and been brutally honest, is that something you've done?
Many times.
Just sitting in the room by yourself in the darkness and just cycling through your thoughts. Like, hey, this is my reality. Yeah,
I have. Everybody, I recommend everybody do it. I have. Yep.
All right. So the hardest thing you've done in your life is an easy question to answer. Why?
I don't think it's an easy thing. Would it be an easy thing?
You said it was easy. You switching up now. The greatest thing was hard, and the hardest thing was easy. Now you're saying they're not.
I mean, it all requires thought. So yeah, I'll give it that. The hardest thing that I've done, I would give it. Yeah. Okay. It's easier to answer. Yeah. Okay.
Why? Why is it the hardest thing easier to answer? Because I would say the greatest thing would be the easiest to answer because it brought you so much enlightenment and glory. The hardest thing would be harder because you struggle with it. Yeah.
I mean, no, not necessarily, because when you start thinking about the easy answers, right? Sometimes everybody goes to the fastest answer as possible, right? So people start coming up with, oh, they met their spouse. That's the single greatest moment in their life. Right. And then people like, oh, I had my children. That's the greatest moment in their life. But those are easy answers that people come to. So no.
You had a life
hard.
Before children. You had a life before your spouse, like entire lives before these things.
You have yourself. You have to exclude everybody in your life and your own space, and you have to think about you.
Right.
And sometimes that's hard.
To those folks out there listening in Radio Land, take a moment, an extended moment, and ask yourself, what is the single most greatest thing you ever done in your life? And then be honest. And then take another extended moment and ask yourself, what is the single hardest thing you ever done in your life? I feel like those two questions are rather easy to answer in my lifespan. Yeah. And this Diana here thinks not so easy because it requires thoughts and honesty.
It does. You got to be honest with yourself first.
All right.
You do.
Mm-hmm. So, you ready to hear my answers? Because I know you ain't gonna want me to go first. So we're just gonna skip all of that and we're gonna jump straight to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I always go first.
Yappa. I don't want to hear it. Moving on. The single most greatest thing I've done in my life is the same thing, the same answer to single most hardest thing I've done in my life,
which is
come on down to the Price is Right. Is not giving up.
Okay,
that is the single most greatest thing I've done in my life, and it is also the hardest thing in my life, and it is also the most continuous thing that I do in my life. Because not giving up, just a relatable example here. There's people that depend on you to go to work, depend on you to cook dinner, depend on you just to be there, and you might not want to do it. You wake up and you have to get up, right? That's what you think. You have to go to work. You have to cook this dinner to feed these people because they rely on you. In actuality, you convince yourself you have to do it and you don't. You can just lay in bed and do nothing. But you get up and you move and you navigate the waters of life to make sure everybody that relies on you is taken care of. And you continue to do it every single day. Not giving up and making an effort to keep moving forward is hard.
It is.
We do it every day, but it is hard, right?
It is just tacky.
This working stuff, it's ghetto.
It's tacky.
But when you do it, it's the greatest thing you do because you do it every day. And I'm not saying doing these things for your family is the greatest thing you do. I'm saying having the courage and the mentality to keep going every day is great because you can just lay in the bed. Matter of fact, perfect example, right? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You got those people that got sick and laid in the bed and just didn't do a thing for years. Ain't nothing wrong with them. They got sick one time and be like, oh, well, that's it right there. And then my man's got golden ticket and all of a sudden pop good. Everybody getting up and moving. But they didn't have to get up.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have any motivation to get up, and they didn't. And when he found some motivation, my man, now granted, it wasn't the best motivation, but it's just the perfect analogy here. They didn't have to get up. They didn't have to support their families. Their house was literally falling apart around them, and they still didn't get up. But those folks that were still cooking, that was still cleaning, that was still working, that still had hope, or the sole purpose, sole reason those folks that didn't want to get up survived. Those folks are great in turn. And now, if you've seen the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I'm talking about the OG, the original one with, I don't even know the name in it, but you know which one, the old one, the black and white, not my man's.
Oh God, that was like what?
Yeah,
the one, 80s version.
Yeah, the one you all watched in school, not in the movie theater. That one. Those folks are great, but you saw their house. You saw the block they live on. Heck, you saw the city. It's hard. It was hard for them to make $1, a quarter, and keep pushing, but they did it. So that's the single greatest thing and the hardest thing for me. Now tune back in. We'll be right back after a short break to get Miss Diana's take on the two questions. Make sure while we're gone, you all just pause and take that extended moment and answer the questions for yourself. We'll be right back. You're listening live to WDRB Media, the station that gives you double the information and inspiration.
Calling all business owners, all independent artists, and all nonprofit organizations. If you are in need of radio advertising, we encourage you to call 877-342-7770. That's 877-342-7770. Through their Community Give Back project, there is an entrepreneur foundation that is paying for free radio advertising. That's right, I said free, F-R-E-E, in support of our small business owners, independent artists, and nonprofit organizations. Please call 877-342-7770 in order to receive your free radio advertising today.
Welcome back to WDRB Media. For those listening live through the streaming radio app, TuneIn Radio, iHeart, Apple Music, you're listening to the SelfAware Radio Show with me, your host, Self-Awareness. I was made to look a fool by a crackhead. I went to give him $1. He was asking for money. I had $1. I ain't want the $1 no more. So I gave him $1. And he said, "That's all you got, man? You can't give me nothing else, man?" "No, man, that's all I got. I don't carry cash like that. I mean, you might want to get a job." He said, "Shut up. You go to work and earn a living." I've been had mine. I earn a living every day by living. I was like, hold up. Wait a minute. What you mean earn a living? He was like, you ain't got to earn a living. You was born already. You got your life. I was like, damn. So I stood out on the street corner with him, and I made a couple dollars. I made about 20. Just hold my hand out. So that's a life lesson for you right there. Anyway, we're back to our questions. We had two questions on, and they were, what is the single greatest thing you have done in your life? And question number 2, what is the single most hardest thing you've done in your life? My answers for both questions were the same. Not giving up. And that is on both sides of both extremes on the spectrum. Is not giving up. That's the greatest thing and the most continuous thing. And it's also the hardest thing because it takes consistent effort. As you have to do it every day. You can't just not get out of bed. You can't just not go to work. You can't just not put effort into your dreams. It's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would have it. And with me, of course, I have Miss Diana here.
What's up?
What's up? That was really aggressive, brother. What's up? What's good with you, bro?
Hey.
Yeah, cool.
Hi.
So she has been avoiding answering the question. So
I wasn't avoiding.
Miss Diana.
I wasn't avoiding.
What is the single greatest thing you have done in your life? And it's not your kids.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I said that.
Oh, I'm
let that be known.
just bringing that back.
I said that. Oh, can I talk?
Take that.
Okay. So the most single greatest thing I've done.
Go ahead now.
I learned self-love.
Self-love is the best love.
And it is. I learned self-love.
And what makes that the greatest thing you've done?
That's the greatest thing I've done because a lot of people look outside every day and seeking love from other people, outside sources. But how many people can actually say that they look in the mirror and do some sort of self-love as far as they're okay with themselves. They're okay with being in their own personal space. They're okay with their own company. They're okay with just being. They're more appreciative of themselves all the way around. Self-love.
In a relationship, would your spouse be your source of happiness?
No, that person should not be your source of happiness.
Okay.
No, they should add to, yes, but they should not be your source of happiness, because if that person up and leave, are you going to tell me that you're no longer happy? I mean, yeah, you're going to be upset if they were to leave, obviously, right? But happiness, it's in itself, should come from within.
You heard that, brothers. For all the brothers out there listening, that female that say you her everything, she capping. She not telling the truth, brother. You're not her everything. I don't want to hear it. You're not her everything, brother. You are just in addition to it. All right. I'm not saying don't make your woman happy. I'm just saying you ain't everything, brother. She ain't your everything.
Are you done?
I'm just saying, brother, you can be happy without that woman. Love yourself. It is City Boy season. All 2022 and 2023. Brothers, you get flowers too. I'm sorry, but that is going to be my platform I stand on forever. Anyway, moving on, brothers, get your flowers. If she ain't getting you flowers, push it to the side. Somebody go give you flowers. Buy them for yourself and put a note in there and surprise yourself. Oh. Anyway, Miss Diana, what is the single most hardest thing you ever done?
The hardest thing the hardest thing was to learn to forgive those who've hurt me.
Forgiveness.
Yes, that is the hardest thing I've had to learn.
It's in the Bible.
And it is.
Turn the other cheek.
No, I wouldn't turn in the cheek. I didn't turn no cheeks. However, I learned to forgive those who've hurt me. And the reason why, okay?
All right.
If you walking around being mad at other people, who are you really hurting? So for instance, if I'm mad at you, okay, and we're no longer talking, okay, because you've done something like that's not forgiving, and I'm walking around just highly upset. Now, who is that hurting? Is that hurting me or is it hurting you?
Well, I'm going to keep it a stack with you. I know you ain't talking about me in particular. If you mad at me, you mad at yourself. That's between you and God. Because if you mad, that's on you. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
So no, okay. The
you
question
heard yourself.
was,
you heard yourself.
So the question, right? So the question was,
y'all could be mad.
Would I be mad? No, who was it hurting, me or you?
It's you. Because I don't care.
All right. And so that's like how it's typically how it is. So if somebody else hurts or deceives you, it's not hurting them. You're hurting yourself because you're the one that's walking around carrying the weight on your shoulders. So you're walking around mad at the world. So you might as well you forgive them, not for them, but for yourself. You forgive them to move forward. Yeah. To allow acceptance and progress. Like you don't walk around being mad because you don't progress forward. You don't get anywhere. And I can dig it because it'd be like, I'm quick to tell somebody, all right, it happened. What we doing next? How we move forward? You got time to be sitting there on that all day. You mad? Okay, get over it. That's like I had posted. It's something I had posted earlier on Instagram. And it says, growth requires you to meet yourself. And would you be okay with that? What meeting yourself? Meeting yourself. Do you like what you see in the mirror? Right. And so that's what I mean by forgiving other people. And when I tell you, I've had people that has done some things that I've had other people look at me and be like, I would not have forgave them for that. Well, I forgave them for myself, not for them, because, life goes on and everything comes back. And it does. Everything comes back. So that all goes back to sitting in a room with yourself. And how do you know you have grown as a person? That requires you to sit in a room by yourself and, just collecting your thoughts.
In a dark room and that.
How would you know if you've grown? Growth requires you to meet yourself. And would you be okay with meeting yourself? That's a good question.
It's a real good question. I'm okay with meeting myself because I already know what type of energy I'm on. We're going to have ourselves a hoot, a nanny. You understand me? It's self-aware and self-awareness, they going to get straight to it. With the hardest thing, with your answers and my answers differ so much. It's a statement I want to make. Don't measure your trials and tribulations by comparing to somebody else's. You could see somebody who was going through some things and you can say all day, "Ooh, Lord, thank you for not putting me through that because I don't think I would have made it." Yet it's possible to make it through it because they did. They're probably looking at you the same way. Like, "Lord, thank you for not putting me through that because I don't think I would have made it." When you made it, like your hardest paths in life, there's no level to hard. It's just hard. It's just hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the results of that, how you come out of it, may not be the way you want it, but you made it through. You persevered and you took the next step. Don't measure yourself against anybody else because what you go through is your battle. And whether you're equipped for it or not, the lesson you learn is yours to live and reteach.
I was talking to a friend today at lunch because she's lucky. She was off today. And so I had told her that elevation in life requires separation. What do you think?
That's spot on because, and here's why it's spot on. Before I get there, you want to surround yourself with people, not in the space you're currently in, but in the space that you want to be in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to elevate yourself to the space that they are in, you're going to need to separate yourself from the space you're currently in. So once you get there, the space you was in looks unfamiliar. That's the elevation. Like you have to get to a higher level, you're gonna lose some friends, you're gonna lose some family, you're gonna separate from things that held you back,
that no longer serve you.
There you go. It is a new you in a new part of your life. You're gonna separate. Elevation does require separation, and it face value that sounds ugly. This ain't crabs in the barrel, right? I don't have to pull you up if when I start pulling, you start pulling. To get there, I have to get there by any means necessary. I may have to separate to get there and get my footing and then bring you up, then teach you, but your path is not the same as mine. So if we got to take two journeys, if you need to go down the path on the right and I need to go down the path on the left, either path isn't big enough for both of us to walk side by side. We're going to have to separate so we can elevate. One of the deepest and dopest moments I've had, it was freshman year in college, and I decided to journey down the rabbit hole. I was by myself, and I was like, let me do some research and let me study and meet myself, who I was in college. I realized I wasn't the same person in high school. I laid on the floor, and I was alone with my thoughts, and at first, before I got on the floor, I was just in the rabbit hole, all that, just one thing led to another thing. Next thing you know, I'm listening to some of the crazy stuff that I won't repeat right now. I had some serious realizations. I put some J. Cole in my ear and let it ride, and I let my thoughts flow. And let me tell you, what goes up must come down. And where they come down to? What's the bottom? The floor. Mm-hmm. So when I lay on the floor, everything that went up came back down. I'm down there with it, and it's just free flowing. And that was like one of the dopest things ever. Sometimes you just gotta lay on the floor.
I'm with you. But I didn't lay on the floor though.
That's probably because your floors is dirty.
First off, it is not.
Clean your floors.
Clean your face.
It's okay.
What I did was I actually had a conversation with an empty chair.
With an empty chair. I ain't gonna call you crazy T-face.
It's not crazy. Believe it or not, they use it as therapy. It is a therapeutic approach. Believe it or not, it's called the empty chair technique. What you do is you get an empty chair.
Yeah.
and you have a conversation with that chair as if it could be the person who you want to have a conversation with who is no longer here, or a person who you cannot physically touch or reach out to. And for me, it was having a conversation with myself.
Right. That don't make it worse.
And whatever. And it's having a conversation. It is having a conversation. It is having deep conversations with myself about things that I needed to change and things that I would no longer accept in my life. That's what it was.
For those out there listening, I encourage you to ask yourself, what's the greatest thing I've done in my life? I encourage you to ask yourself, what's the hardest thing you've done in your life? I encourage you to lay on the floor alone and be with your thoughts. I encourage you to sit in a dark room by yourself and be with your thoughts. I even, probably not me, but Miss Diana here probably encourage you to talk to an empty chair. Put some clothes in
there. My counselors know what that means to talk to an empty chair.
Put some clothes in the chair, something, a baby doll, something that can pretend to look back, but an empty chair though.
An empty chair.
You had imaginary friends, didn't you?
I did. Everybody did.
Yeah, everybody. Speak for yourself, pimp.
Whatever.
Imaginary friends. Look, I got a strong imagination, and I ain't never seen nothing pop up and walk with me nowhere. I'm just saying, because if something following me, either I'm crazy or that's a ghost, and I ain't playing with no ghost. I'm just saying,
focus.
That's an empty chair. Did the chair talk back?
Focus.
Did you talk back? You imagine you was talking to yourself. You ain't talk back.
It didn't talk back. No.
Shoot, I'm gonna talk to a bottle of water before I go to sleep. I'm gonna say I appreciate you for nourishing my body, and if he say something, I'm leaving. But anyway,
the most important thing I could say is to look in the mirror and to just be honest with yourself. That's the most important thing. Learn to be honest with yourself. Not be okay with stuff you're not okay with.
Yeah. Talk to him.
There you go.
Take a moment, wake up, and realize you are not the same. You don't feel the same. You don't act the same. You don't process things the same. Recognize yourself. Or as Ms. Diana said, meet yourself. Meet the new you.
Yep.
And get acquainted. And actually, understand who this new version of you is. You can live a better life. If you are faking your happiness, get to the root of that. If you're happy, get to the root of it. Expand upon it. If you just out here existing, stop just existing. Start living. Y'all realize, and this is something I realized right before COVID hit, and COVID actually made it more possible. A bucket list is just hobbies to other people. Cut that 1 day stuff out. We on a 2 day type of energy. Yeah. A what?
A weekend.
A weekend. Yeah. Cut that 1 day stuff out. You want to go skydiving?
Get a passport.
Get a passport. Get some chicken nuggets. Go to Starbucks. All that stuff you want to do. Just
I'm not accepting birthday dinners this year. Okay, y'all need to get passports. I'm not accepting birthday dinners
I don't even know what that
this year. We need passports.
Okay, yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
To the brothers out there, pump what she talking about. If she ain't helping you get your passport and bring you flowers and taking you on a cruise and getting you some sneakers, brother, then she got to go. All right, she can get you a flight. Shoot, they got a man wig now. They got the wave cap with actual waves on it. Shoot, you like your lace front done too, brother. Shoot.
Lose a diamond while y'all searching for nuggets.
All right, brother, look. Okay. City Boys all 22. Okay. Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media. There's a station that gives you double information and inspiration. You're listening live on TuneIn, Streamer, iHeart, and Apple Music. Catch me next Monday, SelfAware Radio at 10 o'clock with your host, Self Awareness. Peace, and I'm out. Talk to him.